There is a moment that decides the rest of your life. Not when you fail the first time, not when people criticize you, but when nothing works for a very long time. No applause, no confirmation, no visible progress, just silence. That's where belief usually collapses. Most people don't quit loudly. They quit quietly. They lower expectations. They rewrite their dreams into something safer. But some people don't collapse there. Their belief doesn't shrink, it hardens. Tonight, we are not here to argue politics. We are not here to defend or attack anyone. We are here to study a psychological pattern that appears very rarely in human beings. The psychology of unbreakable belief. And we will study it through one real-life case study, Imran Khan. This is a story about the resilience that emerges from the quietest moments of failure. Make sure to subscribe for more deep dives like this. Drive comes from within. This distinction is the foundation of unbreakable belief. Here's a truth psychology discovered long ago. Most people are reward-driven. A few are meaning-driven. What's the difference? It's all about the questions we ask ourselves. Reward-driven minds ask, what do I get? When will this pay off? Who will notice? It's a very transactional way of thinking, focused on immediate, external validation. But meaning-driven minds ask something completely different. They ask, is this worth suffering for? Would I do this even if I lose? Does this define who I am? This isn't about what you get. It's about who you become. This difference changes everything. Rewards expire. The praise fades, the money gets spent, the trophy collects dust. Meaning, however, doesn't. When rewards disappear, reward-driven people stop. Their motivation is gone. But when rewards disappear, meaning-driven people continue. They push through because their people remember success, but psychology studies what happened before the success. Take Imran Khan's early cricket years. They weren't exactly heroic. They were unstable. He was criticized, questioned, and doubted constantly. Years went by without the kind of validation people expected. Now, this is important because repeated failure usually produces a few things: crippling self-doubt, anxiety, and performance paralysis. But sometimes, the opposite happens. Psychology calls this stress inoculation. It's when a person repeatedly experiences intense pressure without quitting. When that happens, the nervous system learns something absolutely critical. I can survive discomfort. And that lesson is permanent. It completely changes how fear works inside your brain. Fear stops being a giant wall you can't get past. Instead, it just becomes background noise. You learn to perform despite it, to push through it. And that, right there, is the foundation of true resilience. When Pakistan won the 1992 World Cup, people called it luck. But psychology has a different name for it: delayed reinforcement. Think about it. 21 years of relentless effort with absolutely no guarantee of a win. This kind of reward, one that comes after so long, does something incredible to the brain. It carves in a powerful lesson. Time doesn't matter. Persistence wins. Once your brain truly accepts this, short-term failures and setbacks just don't have the same sting. They lose their power over you. That belief, forged in the fire of a long-awaited victory, doesn't just fade away after the celebration is over. No, it migrates. It seeps into every future struggle, every new challenge you face, fueling you with the knowledge that if you just keep going, you can overcome anything. Have you ever felt so strongly about something that giving up on it feels like giving up on yourself? There's a fascinating psychological state that explains this, and it's called identity fusion. Imagine your beliefs, your purpose in life, and your very image of yourself all collapsing into one single, unbreakable structure. That's identity fusion. When this happens, quitting isn't just an option you're considering. It feels like self-destruction. Making a compromise feels like betraying the core of who you are. Most people never reach this stage. They have beliefs, sure, but they don't become their beliefs. But for those who do, something incredible happens. Fear completely loses its leverage. Think about it. Fear usually works by threatening to take something away from you. But when your identity is fused with your purpose, you have a different mindset. You think, you can take everything from me, my possessions, my status, everything, except who I am. It's a powerful state of mind where your core self becomes untouchable. Let's talk about the psychology of belief. We'll use Imran Khan's political journey as a case study. Facts only. His political career began in 1996. What followed were years of electoral losses, minimal representation in parliament, public ridicule, and constant dismissal by the media. Psychologically, this is what we call sustained ego injury. For most people, this kind of constant failure leads them to soften their beliefs, seek compromise, or reduce their ambitions. It's a natural response to protect oneself from further pain. But here, something different happened. The source of validation shifted. It went from "people must approve of me now" to "history will judge me later." In psychology, this is known as temporal displacement of validation. It's one of the strongest belief protection mechanisms we know. When the mind starts living in a future where it's vindicated, present suffering becomes almost irrelevant. The ultimate judgment isn't today, it's tomorrow. Pressure usually breaks belief, but sometimes pressure feeds it. This weird paradox happens when suffering is interpreted in a specific way. Instead of a reason to quit, it becomes proof of righteousness, evidence of a greater purpose, or confirmation that what you're doing is incredibly important. Psychology has a name for this: a self-sealing belief system. The internal logic completely flips. It becomes, if I'm suffering for this, my cause must truly matter. Or, if people are opposing me this strongly, I must be a real threat to the old way of thinking. At this point, the belief becomes almost unbreakable. Loss doesn't weaken it. Being isolated doesn't erase its meaning. In fact, opposition becomes the very fuel that keeps it going. The belief no longer needs victory to survive. It just needs to feel significant. It thrives on the struggle itself. This is critical. Unbreakable belief is not pure strength. It has a shadow side, and it's something we all need to understand. Psychology warns us that when our beliefs become too rigid, our ability to adapt to new situations plummets. When we're wrapped in a blanket of moral certainty, we effectively block out any feedback that might challenge us or help us grow. It's like wearing noise-canceling headphones in a conversation. Then there's identity fusion, where our beliefs become so intertwined with who we are that any opposition feels like a personal attack. This dramatically increases conflict. When a belief becomes this rigid, self-correction is nearly impossible. Flexibility vanishes. This isn't a praise of doubt. It's a sober analysis. Every psychological advantage we gain, even from strong conviction, comes with a psychological cost. It's a trade-off, and being aware of it is the first step toward true wisdom. This case study isn't about a person. It's about belief under pressure. So, ask yourself, Does your belief survive invisibility? Can you continue without applause? Would you persist if no one agreed with you? Because psychology is clear. Talent opens doors, but belief decides who stays inside. It's a tough pill to swallow, but most people fail not because they lack ability, but because their belief collapses under silence. When the validation stops, when the likes dry up, when the world goes quiet, that's the real test. That's where you find out what you're truly made of. It's not about how loud the cheer is when you start. It's about how strong your conviction is when there's no sound at all. That quiet confidence, that inner drive, that's the stuff of legends. This was not about politics. This was about psychology. It was a study of belief, a belief that refuses to collapse under pressure. A testament to how the human mind can construct its own reality, a fortress against doubt, even when the walls are crumbling. We've journeyed into the intricate labyrinth of conviction, witnessing how narratives are forged and defended with fierce loyalty. But this is just the surface. The mind holds deeper, more unsettling secrets. If you want more explorations into the shadows of human consciousness, into the very mechanics of what makes us tick, this is Psychora. Subscribe to our channel. Because understanding the mind isn't just knowledge, it's the real power. The ultimate tool for navigating the complexities of our world and ourselves. Thank you for watching.